Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday Morning Show where ASI's most outspoken editors talk promo products. I'm Andy Cohen, editor of Counselor Magazine, and we have a great show, a special show planned for you here today. Isn't that right, one Joe Haley?
That is correct, Andy. That is correct, sir. I feel like Ed McMahon. You are correct.
You're very decked out in your St. Patrick's gear, Joe.
Yeah.
You got a tie. Nobody can see your tie.
The tie's got shamrocks on it.
Yeah.
It's 100% polyester from Ireland, only the best. I'm also wearing a sweater that I bought from the Aran Islands. So once you get a sweater from the Aran Islands, Andy, you'll never be cold again. That's
I'm guessing you're going to be kind of hot in
I'm going to
today.
be, if the air conditioner goes, in here, I'm going to be reduced to a whole 98-pound weakling.
We'll be okay if you take that off. That'd be all right.
So you're saying he's going to drop a pound, basically.
Oh.
Thank you for thinking that on that light.
With that fantastic joke is Chris Ruvo. Chris, how are you? You're also sporting the green.
I am for my green half. So
Very nice.
Yeah,
What's
ready
the
to
other
go.
half?
I'm Italian and Irish.
All right.
Yeah. There you have
Quite
it.
the mix.
Yeah. And I'm not fighting yet, and there's no problem, so we're good to go. So let's put the stereotypes aside, people.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to be talking sales on the show today. We're going to be talking about creative ways to reach today's buyer. So if you have any questions about that, you can give us a ring at 215-953-4979. On the line, we have a special guest here today. Johnny Campbell, who is an ASI show speaker, is a consultant and author. He's also known as the Transition Man because, as he says, he is the agent of business change. He's also the publisher of the Promotional Product Sales Confidential newsletter. So let's bring Johnny into the show. Johnny, how are you today?
Hello, everyone. How you guys doing?
Hey, Johnny, we're good.
Doing great. Thanks for joining us. Let's just jump right into it. So what do you think is the best way to identify the decision maker today?
Well, in the market today, there's so many different angles and ways here. Now, you always got the traditional ways of the person's title, of course, but then also you can identify decision makers based on departments. But here's some more creative ways. Look at the category of services that they sometimes offer to their clients and customers. There are community outreach people. Those are decision makers who could buy. There are in companies charity and civic group managers who could actually buy promo items. And then there are new business development departments and individuals who are decision makers who can buy. So there's a lot of new and unique groups within inside of companies who are potential decision makers besides the traditional CEOs and the chief operating officers and all those individuals.
Johnny, what are some unique ways you've seen that are successful for salespeople looking to creatively call on buyers? And a lot of people don't like cold callings, but so what are some of those creative ways to call on buyers?
Well, one of the things you can do is before you call on the buyer, you can set up a Google alert. And you set up the Google alert to alert you about a target buyer, like there's a particular company you want to reach and a person, you kind of know who they are. You set up a Google alert and you target them based on they could potentially have an event. It could be a charity function. It could be something that's going on. And that Google alert will send you back notification on that person in that company. And you use that as your entree into reaching that decision maker because you're calling based on what the Google alert said as a way to start that conversation to eventually direct them towards your promo items.
John,
so that's probably one of the unique ways.
As a follow-up to that, how important do you think it is for salespeople today to essentially, for lack of a better word, do their homework on the people and the companies they're calling on? You know, not just their current clients who they obviously know a lot about, but the ones that are prospects that might be cold calls. We talk a lot on this show about how, you shouldn't really be making cold calls because you should have some information on those prospects. How important do you think that is today?
Oh, it's critically important because you need to know what's going on here. One of the things that I talk to a lot of promo people about is they don't want to go into a niche, and they need to focus. Like if you say, I'm going to target decision makers in this marketplace, you'll start to understand the culture and the value system of those in that marketplace. A lot of promo people will do random acts of marketing. They'll hit all kind of places, and they never get consistent.
It's a good phrase.
And so that's why research is tough on them, because they won't pick a niche and learn about that marketplace. Like they should think, I have a promo item. How does my promo item really serve this particular marketplace, and how are they already using it? then you have a lot of working knowledge when you make this call on a new decision maker, but they're in the market that you're already comfortable with. So that's kind of why I always say, and I kind of threw it out early, but it is random acts of marketing by most promo people, and that's why it's hard for them to cold call or really connect.
Now, you don't mind if we steal that random acts of marketing line, right?
Yeah.
Of course not.
That's a headline
truth.
somewhere.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Well, Johnny, kind of on the subject of marketing, it's a big craze today, of course, social media, and we're kind of I think a lot of reps have questions about it, and I think they want to know how effective can social media actually be in helping them reach buyers and decision makers.
Here's one thing I tell every promo person: mindset, sequence, and then the systems. Social media is a system. You have to be thinking the right way first to use social media. Then you have to do things in a sequential order to make the system of social media work. Mindset is, who am I really looking for in the social media world? Who is the decision maker I'm looking for? Once you understand who you're looking for, now you say, what do I have to offer to that person? So we're inside of LinkedIn. We say, okay, I'm going to target decision makers in LinkedIn. You identify who they are. Then you look in their profile and see what affiliations, associations are they a part of. You want to understand that. Then you jump over and join the group that they're a part of. And you start to understand sequentially what they're doing, what's going on. And then finally, you use LinkedIn as a way to connect with them, which is the system. You use that to connect with them now that you have a legitimate conversation to present to them. You follow me there?
I absolutely do. And just a quick follow to that, do you see other, LinkedIn's obviously the big one. Do you see other platforms like Twitter or Facebook being useful too?
Well, Twitter is a good one if you've already got a community. See, here's the catch. A lot of people are on there tweeting out things and no one cares. You have to have a community that you're tweeting to. So in other words, you have to build your community up of people who see your message is valuable to them. Then when you tweet, it actually has real impact. See, that's a lot of people forget that when they watch these celebrities tweet out a message. They forget everyone that's receiving that message is already a fan of the celebrity. Mm-hmm. That's why the response is so high. If they weren't famous, no one would respond. So that's why they have to build a community to make Twitter really work with impact. And then, of course, there's all the other ones out there from Instagram. And once again, the rule is the same. You must create a community before it really works at the level that everyone wants it to work at.
Gotcha.
All right, Johnny, as we're talking about unique and creative ways to reach today's buyer, here's a common problem that promotional products distributors have. So what do you think? What do you think is more effective at getting a buyer's attention today, low price or creative ideas?
I think creative ideas are the best way to go because a lot of promo items are looked at as commodities and they don't see the uniqueness of them. So I think that it's more of you being a lot more creative with your marketing to target individuals. For example, I found that direct mail is a powerful way for you to reach decision makers, but you got to do it creatively. In other words, here's a quick example of it. I wanted to reach a decision maker in a restaurant industry, and I wanted to reach these individuals. I saw the marketing that they were doing, and I realized the marketing they were doing to sell their product wasn't effective. And so instead of trying to sell them something, I said, I'm going to get their attention first. I went to Home Depot, got a steel bucket, like a pail bucket that holds about a gallon of water. Mm-hmm. I drilled holes in the bucket. I put an item in the bucket, wrote them a sales letter, and mailed it to them and said, don't cause customers to leak out of your sales bucket.
Nice.
And I physically mailed them a bucket. Now, when I called them, I said, hello, this is Johnny Campbell, the Transition Man. I'm the one that sent you the steel bucket. Can I speak to the president? And they said, hold, please. Because
a great
I'm the
example.
only guy that sent them a pail with holes in it with a letter and a promo item.
I like it. That's a great example.
So look, I understand the value of that customer. That's why I can put that direct piece together and send it to them. Because I know what they're worth to me if I close that book of business.
Johnny, are there any other creative ways that good salespeople are reaching the end buyers that poor salespeople might not be doing?
Well, one of the things is good salespeople realize they need to be a part of those decision makers' community. So you don't want one decision maker. You want to identify a decision maker and say, is there a community of these individuals based on their titles or their profession? Good salespeople are joining those associations of those decision makers and becoming a part of that association with them, which causes them to build a relationship up with them. Another way good salespeople are doing is they will find magazine articles or publications and find specific content that supports the value of a promo item as it relates to that customer's in use. And they'll send that to those kind of decision makers to show, I'm not selling you promo items, I'm selling you my expertise on how to help you sell more of what you got. That's what the good ones are doing. They're selling their expertise, not their promo item, to decision makers.
I gotcha. And kind of on a similar question though, for salespeople who are in a rut, maybe they've had some success, but now they're in a dry patch. What can they do to get out of it? Is there certain maybe outside the box steps that they can take?
I still go back to the same thing. They've got to pick a niche market that is flourishing right now. They've got to identify new marketplaces where they can go in there and become a part of their community. Once they get an understanding of a new marketplace and what they're about, they'll get out of that rut because they'll start building relationships. It's those random acts of marketing that have put them in that rut. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, real quick, I'm not saying that a person has to be in one niche only exclusively, but they need to pick marketplaces to participate in, and that will keep the revenue coming in. Also, it has to do with continuity. If you're living in the world of transactions only, that can put you in a rut if someone stops buying. So they need to focus also on promo items that allow for continuity, which is calendars, things that they know will bring money in month after month after month. So they also have to have those kind of continuity promo items in their mix, and that'll help keep them believing in themselves.
Johnny, along those lines, when a distributor or a salesperson identifies a niche, a market that they want to target, and you're talking about getting part of that community, becoming involved in it, how do you suggest people do that? What do they need to do to get involved in that sort of market's community?
Once they know that they want to be in this market's community, first step is to find the association. Because there's an association for everyone. There's an association for bubblegum operators. There's an association for everybody. So they need to join that association. They also, if possible, they need to become a contributor to the magazines or publications inside that marketplace. Either being quoted or being an expert in that marketplace, in that publication. That will build their credibility. It'll build their celebrity. And then finally, they need to have the courage to get up front and speak at an association event. And what would they talk about? The value of promo items to help those people build and grow their business, retain customers, or gain market share. And that's what they need to do. It's not complex, but it requires some work.
Sure, absolutely. All right, Johnny, before we let you go, there's a lot of opportunity for salespeople and promotional products distributors out there today. The market is growing, and the opportunities are great. So what is your number one sales tip for success today?
The number one thing I would recommend is that they need to develop a marketing system to acquire customers, and also a marketing system for referrals, and they need to develop a system for recovering lost customers. The tip is you need systems in place in order to maintain your business today.
All right, Johnny. Well, thanks very much for joining us today, and you can check out Johnny at the ASI shows and online at thetransitionman.com. Johnny, thanks for joining us. Go ahead.
Hey, they also can go to promotionalproductprofits.com and reach me as well.
Very
awesome.
good.
Thank you, Johnny.
Check that out. Johnny, you have a good day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
All right, right now we'll pause to hear from a message from our show sponsor, ASI Education. But when we get back, we'll continue the conversation about creative ways to reach buyers today.
At ASI, we know that education is the key to success, so we're excited to announce our newly reimagined online learning center. Log in and test the all-new intuitive interface. Share photos, stories, and communicate with other ASI members who are learning along with you. Expand your knowledge with wikis, discussion boards, and more than 350 courses, which include valuable marketing and sales information. And for your convenience, the Online Learning Center now uses a single sign-on access like your other ASI services. Best of all, It's free. Become an industry expert and see what's new on the ASI Online Learning Center at www.asicentral.com/online learning.
Welcome back to the Tuesday Morning Show, where we've been talking about creative ways to reach today's buyer. Part of what we talked about with Johnny Campbell was the use of social media, and he touched on LinkedIn, Joe.
Yes.
But you have some more steps to how to launch a sales campaign on LinkedIn today.
Sure. This very interesting article came from Entrepreneur Magazine, and the person who wrote this article writes frequently on future technology, social media, startups, gadgets, and apps. And one of the things she gets across in the article is it's when it's done right, social media is also a highly effective lead generation, relationship building, and conversation tool. However, when it goes wrong, it can alienate prospects and send them packing. So you really got to make sure you know what you're doing. We always talk about all the time, like you don't want to sell when you're on Facebook. You don't want to sell there. You want to offer ideas and tips and stuff like that. But here's a way to sell. 6 tips. I'm going to go through a few of them. The first thing you need to do is set up your foundation. And this is all based on research that they did. And she says your LinkedIn profile, it's not your resume, which I think a lot of people do treat it their resume. I work at ASI. I've been here for 20 years. This is my expertise. It's actually your online reputation.
Right.
It's your reputation. It's really not your resume. Use it to demonstrate the value you bring to your clients. And 49% of the buyers research vendors through their LinkedIn profile. So a lot of buyers are going on and looking at profiles if they might want to do business with someone. And 50% of clients will avoid producers with incomplete profiles. So if you're on there, make sure that your profile is as complete as possible. It's up to date. One of the other things they found out here is 75% of buyers use social media in their decision-making process.
Oh, yeah.
So it really is becoming important. It's just not what they see on TV or reading the radio, reading the magazine and stuff. They're really using social media as a way to make their buying decisions.
Think of what you do today. When you meet somebody or you get a call from somebody, one of the first things you do is you Google them.
Yeah.
You Google them, and then one of the first things that show up usually is their LinkedIn page on a Google result, assuming that they have a name that's not Joe Smith or something.
Right.
But then you're going straight there. So project what you want people to see.
Yeah.
If you think your buyer's going there, which they are, then project what you want them to see.
And importantly, you want to be consistent in how you present your quote personal brand image across those different platforms.
Right.
Okay, so here's another thing. Step 2, you need to build your network. 3/4 of B2B buyers now use social media to research purchasing decisions, with twice as many using LinkedIn as any other social media. So LinkedIn, we always talk about, like Facebook is the fun thing. LinkedIn is the professional social media site to go to. So people are using that. And the research also shows that 92% of B2B buyers will engage with sellers who are known industry thought leaders. So that tells me is that what you need to be doing there, you need to be adding original content to your site. And look at some of the people you're connected to. There are a lot of people who are writing blogs and posting them on LinkedIn. They're creating videos, they're posting them on LinkedIn. They're doing a variety of different things, but it shows that they're a leader in the industry that they're in. So if you're in this promotional products industry, you should be posting stuff that shows that.
Yeah,
that you're a thought leader.
shameless plug alert here too. Feel free to go to asicentral.com, and we got loads of content on there that you could just pull and send links to that is not in any way spammy or salesy. It's valid, newsy, well-researched things that you can use to present yourself as an expert, and it's all content that you don't have to create.
There you go.
Yeah.
So another thing is step 3 is find the right people. You want to make sure that you're connecting with the right people. Use the advanced people search tool on LinkedIn to find professionals within your target market, which Johnny was talking about.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
if you want to find that niche, something that you want to go and sell your promotional products to and offer your services to, you need to find that market. You can find them on LinkedIn. It says newly hired decision makers are up to 10 times more likely to make a purchase than existing ones. So in other words, if there's that turnover in a company and you know that there's that turnover, that person would be more likely to make the decision than someone who's already established and working with, a vendor already. Step 4 is to engage your prospects with insight. It goes back to creating that content. Nearly 64% of B2B buyers report that they appreciate hearing from a salesperson who provides knowledge or insight about their business. Was kind of what Johnny was saying.
Right.
Find those articles, share those articles with people. And the last tip, that was tip 4. Where's tip 5, Andy?
Uh-oh.
Tip 5. Anyway.
Well, we'll make tip 4 the last tip.
Well, last tip is measure and optimize.
Yeah.
Look at what you're doing, and are the results what you want? If not, you need to maybe up your game
and test different strategies.
Yeah, very good. It was all done infographic. A lot of great statistics in here that support the reasons why you want to do business on social media, and we will post this later on our website, asicentral.com/radio.
Very cool. We have a caller on line 1 with a question, I presume, about how to reach today's buyer, Joe Johnson. Joe, how are you today?
Pretty good. How y'all doing?
Doing great. What is your question for the host?
Well, my one thing is, because in other fields, I know there's different things where I kind of feel slighted a little bit by it. But when you're out and you're reaching for new prospective buyers and some of the offers that you give out there, how do you take in effect that with your established buyers? Like in the markets where they say first-time buyers get this discount and that discount, and then you got some established buyers that feel a little slighted if you're offering these bigger discounts to new customers, and I've been an established customer, and I'm not getting that. Yeah, I mean, it's just when you're out there, like we're saying, we're using that, and your established buyers also going to see the things out there. And I know there was one about low prices versus good ideals, and I'm just kind of wondering, how do you avoid stepping over that line where you offend some of your established customers?
Well, I think that it's somewhat understood about that tactic that exists in business today. So I don't know that people are always so offended by that. Somebody might bring it up to you, but I think you want to rely on the point that when they're a customer of yours, they are receiving your ideas and your services and your rush delivery times essentially for free. That it's part of the kind of package deal that your price includes. That first-time buyer, all they're getting is really the product that they want to buy. It's a very basic sale, and I'm assuming that the other clients you have might not be on such a basic basis. And so I think you probably want to rely on that a little bit. The point is that you're drawing in the buyer the first time, and then you're then presenting ideas for bigger campaigns and bigger promotions down the line. Those bigger campaigns and promotions are hopefully the ones that you're already providing to these current clients, as opposed to that one-off, I just need 50 T-shirts for something deal that shouldn't necessarily be the bread and butter of the business.
Okay.
I would say this is
that kind of sound like what I was saying. What you just said. Make sure that some of these specials that you are making sure your big established customers are already getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I mean, they may have gotten that the first time. I also think that it's important that they know that they're getting certain services that those other new clients may not be getting. They might not be getting the rush delivery. They might not be getting the wealth of ideas that you're providing. I'm sure there's things that you do for customers that don't necessarily have a price point. And so those are some things that those new customers might not be getting that they are already getting, the current clients. Joe, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say the same thing Joe said, or that you said, Andy, is that, those clients might have got that as a first-time buyer. They might have got that special deal, so you let them know that. If they raise Cain about it, then say, you know what, we can work out something. We'll give you a one-time special deal now, 50% off of our charge or whatever it is. Offer them extended stuff, an extended offer if they decide that, they're not happy with this. I mean, it happened with me once. I was subscribing to a newspaper, and I had to, if I wanted to use their online service, it was going to cost me as another subscription, But then they were offering that to first-time subscribers to the newspaper. So I said, I don't like this. So I'm a subscriber for 15 years, and now you're telling me I have to pay for an extra service. And I made that call, and they just gave me the service for free. So I think that, if you ask, you acquiesce, and you just say, hey, this is a one-time deal. We offered you at first when you were a one-time buyer, first-time buyer, we offered that deal. Don't forget that. But we can work something out for a special since you're such a good client.
Yeah. All right, Joe, thanks for the call, and good luck to you in trying to win over those clients.
All right, thank you.
All right, Chris, there's some mindsets out there that will help you improve your business today. As we were talking about sales and connecting with clients, what are some of those kind of internal mindsets that people need to succeed?
Yeah, sure. A lot of them are interrelated, and I'll just get right into them. Mindset number one would be you want to choose courage over fear. Much of being successful is about going beyond what you think you're capable of. You kind of want to venture out there and go beyond that comfort zone, and whether or not you fail or succeed, you're going to learn and grow, and if you keep failing, ultimately you're gonna succeed. Another thing, and this is fairly self-evident, but you have to believe in yourself. Without such belief, you're going to lack the ability to build success. Another thing is you want to choose good company. You want to be around positive people, because when you surround yourself with other goal-oriented people, you can learn from them and take on some of their habits to add to your own. And of course, vice versa. If you're with negative people, you're going to internalize some of that, and that's not a good thing. Another thing is you want to define your goals. If you work for a company, you might have sales quotas that you have to hit, but beyond that, you want to define your personal and longer-term professional goals, because if you do that and you're clear about what you want, you're going to work a lot harder toward those things. Another thing is you want to have a real purpose and a vision, and that's kind of related to the prior point. What you could do is you could kind of use techniques to visualize your goals. I knew one sales rep who told me that she used to keep sand. A jar of sand in her desk, and it was from this beach that she loved to visit in the Caribbean.
Okay.
And it was that was her goal. It helped her just visualize and give her a tactile feel. Hey, if I work hard and I'm gonna be back there at this place that I love.
That's a good story. It's interesting what salespeople do to motivate themselves.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And she just would open it and just dip her hand into it occasionally. So it worked for her. She was billing over $1 million a year. So
getting back to that sand.
Yeah, exactly right. Another thing is to not shy away from challenges, but to kind of accept them and embrace them as opportunities for growth. Another one is to be discerning and think deeply and intelligently about the bigger picture and what it is you need to do kind of each step along the way to hit that broader target, if you will.
I think it's a big thing. I don't think a lot of people see the big picture.
Yeah, I agree with
don't.
that.
I think everyone, and I think it's human nature that when you get into whatever job it is, you pigeonhole yourself into this is what I need to do, and you might not think of how that affects the overall picture, whether it's the company goal, department goal, and stuff. So I think that's an important one.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one, you need to be willing to take risks, and this is kind of like American Capitalism 101, right? Like if you're not willing to put yourself out there a little bit, you're going to stay within a comfort zone, and maybe that comfort in itself is a reward, but it's not going to reach that next level of success of the super high achievers that you might be looking to emulate.
Sure.
Another thing, do what you love. You're more likely to succeed in business when you're invested in your passion and making a career that fits your personality. And then finally, I think this is pretty important for all aspects of life. Is you want to take a couple quiet moments to feel gratitude for the things that you have. Maybe you're working toward a goal and you haven't quite achieved that yet, but you still have achieved a lot to get to where you are already in life. And you need to kind of take some time to reflect on that and to be thankful for the things you have and to say, here's how I'm going to build on that going forward. And that'll kind of power you up and make you feel more positive. So.
Very good. Chris Ruvo with an uplifting message.
I'm available for speaking engagements. Please visit my website, my LinkedIn profile.
Very good. Well, you could see those tips and more from today's show at asicentral.com/radio. Unfortunately, we are all out of time for today, but thanks for listening. Thanks to our show sponsor, ASI Education, and have a great week, everybody.